Community service learning, to me, is an integral part of life at the university. And I think it's essential for students to be involved in their communities. I grew up in a family where working in the helping professions and helping the community was a daily thing. My degree from San Francisco State is in Broadcast Communication Arts, which is now known as Broadcast and Electronic Communication Arts. It's advanced, and that also happens to be the degree that my dad earned. He earned a bachelor's and a master's in broadcasting. So I'm fortunate enough to have come from a family where those values were always stressed. So I've done a lot of community work over the years, because being at a university, being on a college campus lends itself to working with organizations. One of the major ways I stay engaged in the community is through our own students at San Francisco State and enlightening and getting them engaged in community work. Well, I'm inspired to continue working in the Latino community and helping the Latino community, because the Latino community is growing so fast, and I believe that the education of our young people is really, really important. The people that have come before this generation and who brought their families here in order for their children to be educated here and thrive here. So what I've discovered about myself through community service learning is that young people and students really look up to people older than them in a very respectful way, and that we have so much influence over them, and that the way that we behave and the things that we say in front of young people is very important and very critical to their development and their education. Hard work, there's a lot of hard work involved, but at the same time it's also very rewarding. And lastly, I would describe it as being very enriching and engaging. I believe that my influence on students and getting them engaged in community organizations has so much influence on social justice issues. And the ones that come to mind that I think are the most prevalent are students are already, even before they graduate, ready to give back and contribute in significant ways to our community-based organizations. There's a strong connection between SF State and the work that the students do, in the way that they're able to continue to be involved in their communities and beyond that. I think it's really important and really critical that when students receive mentoring and advice from older people, that they in turn give advice and mentoring to a younger person. My name is Nikki Tresvina.
Community service learning to me means using the skills that you gain from school and applying them to something larger than yourself. The way I have contributed to the community is by working for the Neighborhood Empowerment Network. One great experience that I had when working with the Neighborhood Empowerment Network was being able to attend the Craigslist Foundation conference. The skills that I've been able to sharpen through working through CSL is trying to understand the different ways in which different organizations and nonprofits work, understanding the language that is different from my own discipline. I happen to come from a background in literature, so working in the civic engagement realm seemed slightly different from the world of fiction. It seemed more real. Without my CSL experience, I would definitely have not had the same experience at San Francisco State. What I'm most grateful for is promotion of community service learning. The main reason why I do community service is because I want to help inspire others so that they believe that they can do the work themselves. And if they can do the work themselves, then it's not only empowering, but it may also promote further civic engagement. I was the editor-in-chief for the Men newsletter. It's called The Kiosk, and we celebrated a book of the month. My main purpose was to publish in print the stories of different community service work that went on in San Francisco. What I learned about myself was that I am actually a part of this community and that I have the capacity within myself to participate in what goes on in the city. Here I was trying to empower others and tell other people's stories, but what I learned about myself was that I too can be empowered. So the adjectives that I would use to describe my learning experience would be empowering, magnifying, and exciting. I don't think I would be the same person if I didn't go through the community service learning experience. My name is Christopher Zepeda.
Community service learning means it's a good meld to get not only students but staff and faculty a way to volunteer and give something back to the community. I got started with community engaged work was when I first started looking for recreational activities for my son, and I asked Special Olympics, and the closest thing to where we lived was San Leandro, which is about 20 miles away. So an opportunity came about a year later where they were looking to start a program in our area, and I got engaged with a couple other families and we started the Richmond Buffaloes. And then as we kept going with the Richmond Buffaloes, I just got more passion. And the reasons I enjoy it so much is I see the joy in their face, and that's where I get my passion, is seeing the pure or unguarded smiling that I get from them. The community that I serve is the developmentally disabled in West Contra Costa County and Northern Alameda County. 12 years ago, myself and a couple other families started the Richmond Buffaloes, which is the local Special Olympics team. And we started out with a 10-team track and field team. And then 12 years later, we've grown into around 65 athletes. First started out with Special Olympics, and 12 years ago, we provided recreation and social opportunities for the athletes. But then 12 years later, we've seen a lot of the individuals grow into adulthood, so we tried to develop a program to meet their needs. So we started a nonprofit in 2009 called Reach West. And REACH is an acronym for resources, education, activities, community, and housing. The main objective of REACH is to provide significantly more joy to the developmentally disabled community of the West Contra Costa and Alameda County areas. Things I've learned about myself through community service learning is it's important to let your voice be heard. One of the stories I like to always share is when we used to have a snowshoeing, and then we had a 50-meter race. One of our athletes had cerebral palsy, so he was a little unbalanced. And so when he fell, he couldn't get up. You know, and everybody was yelling, all his teammates were yelling, "Get up, get up, get up." And then it took about a minute for him to actually get up. And then he actually finished the race. And that's when I learned that it's not how you can win or lose, but it's how you finish. You're able to complete your task. And that's what always stuck with me, because that's what got me involved, and that's what keeps me getting involved, is that experience. My name is Andy Cho.